I have no idea how that's going to play out, Kyle. I really don't. Tagging Mike, the Situation Sorrentino, in all of the Instagram posts? I don't know what Sitch is going to think of that. DarbyCast, Wildcard Friday, and Kyle has taken up the marketing torch. Haven't you, Kyle? Boy, have you got different kinds of strategies. We haven't really marketed this podcast effectively. Kyle hasn't put out what we've needed to take this thing completely and utterly Richter. It's an earthquake reference. Is it earthquake season? That's just a question I have. When are the quakes coming? Hell and high water, Kyle. Kyle, you are a biblical scholar. I'm going to stop talking to you in a second and just kind of address the audience. But you told me the other day, you said, Book of Revelation. Revelation. You told me it was going down, and that's concerning. But you told me what to look out for, and that's the quakes. I would know what to do in a quake situation, as I'm sure many of you would, DarbyCast doctors. What do you do during a quake? That's right. You enter a bathtub and you cover yourself in a blanket. Maybe you cover yourself in a blanket beforehand, unless some of you have a blanket on deck at all times in your bathroom, which I would respect. But you get in the bathtub, not like Keith would get in a bathtub, wiggle his toes and be like, splish splash, the name's Keith. I wish Fauci would do a nude photo shoot. That's what guys named Keith hope for on a daily basis. It's a little toe wiggling, maybe a Fauci dick pic that they get on the dark web through their sketchy friends named Ralph. If you're new to this show, and many of you are, you're probably thinking to yourself right now, wow, what a great time this has been already. And I can't disagree with you. I really can't. Some of you have already anticipated the topic of the day, the TOD, and it doesn't have to do with Revelation, nor does it have to do with earthquakes, although those are both compelling topics and super related, and something that I'd like to get into once we have more of a conversation about it. Kyle, I don't want to go into this without expert knowledge, and I wouldn't know what to say. But let's get into it. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, as have you. Be honest with yourself. If there's a mirror anywhere around you, maybe you just catch eye contact with yourself and you say, it's time for me to come clean with you. And you're talking to yourself. You say, I've been thinking about it. And that figure staring back at you in the mirror is going to say, it's about damn time you got honest. You stupid son of a bitch. What's been on everyone's mind? That's right, AI, artificial intelligence, the singularity. Has it already happened? Perhaps. For some of the bozos listening to the DarbyCast who don't know what the singularity is, it's when the rapidity of technological advancement eclipses the significance of all history prior to that point. AI. Dirty bitch. There are some good things about AI. Although I am almost certain that AI is a tool of the devil, there are some things about AI that I'm like, okay, not bad, AI. So I went to a website the other day. Kyle and I, we went there as a unit. We were sitting next to one another in front of a computer, just so you can kind of visualize what going to a website with another person looks like. Hard to kind of see in your mind's eye unless somebody lays it out. So we go to this website, and it's a clickbait article name generator. And what a treat that is, right? Everybody appreciates some good clickbait when you really think about it. Whenever a really crappy clickbait title comes up, I just click on it because I know that that guy or that gal who wrote the title, maybe it's a robot, maybe it's AI, maybe it's the devil, but maybe it's a person, and they would get 3 cents if I were to click on that. So that's how I kind of, game recognizing game, right? So Kyle and I were on this website, and he says, let's put in a phrase. I say, okay, Kyle, you're reading the directions on the site. I love that out of you. I love that for you. I love that out of you. I say, what's going to be the topic? And Kyle, inspired as all hell, what were you doing that day, Kyle? Did you have a lot of caffeine? Are you doing hard drugs, Kyle? Do we need to have a sit down? But Kyle gives me the phrase. He says, let's punch in Joe Biden's declining mental faculties. And I said, Kyle, good job. That's going to turn out some high quality stuff. First thing that came up, 7 freaky reasons Joe Biden's declining mental faculties could get you fired. Whew, gotta pause for a second. The AI knows too much already, clearly. Do you work at a company where you have to get the old, boy, does that sound like a mess, right? Just doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on the, that makes it seem so much more sketchy. They're like, first we offered you donuts and cheeseburgers, and you scoffed at that. We are such good guys, and I can't believe you rejected a cheeseburger. So now we're going to have to shoot you in the face if you're not willing to help everybody get back to regular life. It's like, what? What are you talking about? But a lot of people are walking off the job. These clickbait articles, they get me thinking. A lot of people are walking off the job and they're saying, go fuck yourself, boss. And I love that. Kyle, if I ever forced you to do anything that was really inappropriate, I hope that you'd call me out on it. But let's look at some more clickbait articles. The titles: How Joe Biden's Declining Mental Faculties Made Me a Better Person. I get it, right? You got to bring compassion into the situation and gratitude somehow. You'd be like, well, thanks for the nonsense. I could spend quite some time on each one of these, but I kind of want to just do it right and hit a lot of them for you, the DarbyCast doctors. 16 unexpected uses for Joe Biden's declining mental faculties. Wow, right? I thought I could only come up with about 13. And here this AI is overpromising. That's what I'll say. AI isn't perfect yet. Needs to learn how to underpromise and overdeliver. Right? Shame on you, AI, you stupid son of a bitch. How Joe Biden's declining mental faculties killed the blank industry. Okay, this AI is really starting to understand more than I thought. I retract my previous statements about the AI being a complete dumbass because the words that are being put together make a little too much sense. Name an industry. This is probably relevant. And I say this in jest because I know Biden's not actually pulling the strings. He's not the puppet master. He is the marionette. He's the half-dead old guy that I just wish would retire and just go be a grandpa. But then Kamala has to step in. Kamala? How does she pronounce her own name? I think she's done it about 15 different ways in the last week alone. What a psycho that chick is. You ever heard her talk? You ever looked into her eyes deeply? Pause a video or just look at a picture and you say, you fantasize about hurting the innocent constantly. But let's continue with these. How Joe Biden's declining mental faculties changed how we think about death. Wow. Talk about the spiritual element of that, and you're going down a rabbit hole you're not even ready for. How about this AI, right? Hats off to the AI. If you're wearing a hat right now, maybe you kind of take it off. And you say, wow, good job, AI. how we think about the death of a lot of things, death of our perceptions about what's really going on. How many people are just totally disillusioned by the nonsense going on right now? I can't even keep pace with it. I'm just wondering when widespread violence is coming. And we're all going to have to pick up samurai swords and ninja stars and other stuff and do damage and protect the ones we love. Have you been training, by the way? Just as a side note, in case SHTF, as they say, are you ready? Do you have a couple extra jugs of water? Do you have 55 pounds of peanut butter like I do? Oh, I'm ready. My entire life doesn't revolve around this. But I'm ready for circumstances to dictate that I'm going to be a big peanut butter guy. In the event that that goes down, I know who I'm calling on a FM radio. Kyle, is that the thing that we use? Ham radio, not FM. Good catch, Kyle. Next potential article. 16 ways Joe Biden's declining mental faculties can find you the love of your life. What does that look like? Do you just find the local ice skating rink? Find that special gal who's twirling, carving up the ice, triple axel, and you're like, hey, babe, how do you feel about old people? You kind of warm her up to the conversation. You don't just jump right into it. Kind of hint at it. You tease this woman. Or if you're a girl listening to this, if you're a gal, maybe you see that, what's the guy's name who stars in Superman? He seems like he ice skates, right? Henry? It's Henry, right? Yeah. He's probably at a local ice skating rink right now, just skating his sorrows away. And what an outlet. I wish I had an outlet like that. Life's got me down, and I just say, Anton Apollo Ono? ? And then I go speed skating. I wish I had that. I really do. But yeah, you warm it up. You warm up that special person. You say, hey, how do you feel about old people? What's your take on dementia? Tell me about the depth of your understanding of ubiquitous corruption. Hell of a pickup line. Nobody's dishing that out. Nobody's ready to receive that. The only choice they'll have is to be captivated. Why billionaires will never invest in Joe Biden's declining mental faculties. Now, AI, I'm going to stop you right there because I feel like that's the entire play. Is rich fat cats investing a whole lot in the little engine that could not hack it? It's sad, right? I'm not angry. Nobody's angry at this old man. Maybe for stuff he did in the past. And maybe you've seen some of the videos. He likes the smell of certain things that aren't okay. We've seen the videos. It's on C-SPAN. Nobody watches C-SPAN, but YouTube. Have you ever heard of it? Like for the smelling and sniffing compilations, it will make you upset. 13 facts about Joe Biden's declining mental faculties that will impress your friends. Okay, the AI has redeemed itself. You go up to one of your pals and you say, did you know that we left Afghanistan after quite some time being there? And we just went for it? And that's not all Biden's fault. I don't think he's doing a damn thing, if we're being honest. I really don't. I think there's some unelected, shadowy dirtbags that did an arms deal in Afghanistan. That's my real hunch. You probably had that hunch too. You're a sharp individual. We, quote unquote, lost $90 billion of equipment in Afghanistan. Yeah, right. That was an arms deal. Somebody got paid. You don't just leave a Ferrari south side of Chicago. Is the south side the rough area? You don't leave a Ferrari there with the keys in it and say, oopsie doopsie. Nobody's doing that. Let's continue. How Joe Biden's declining mental faculties could make anyone a better parent. Okay, now the AI is really picking up steam. Deep understanding that if you have kids, no matter how crappy a parent you are, you can always look to the television and be like, well, my children could be smoking crack somewhere and banging whores. And if your kids are already doing that, then maybe you find other stuff to be like, well, at least my kids aren't doing deals with foreign governments peddling influence in my father's name, in my name, if you're the dad, right? The Unconventional Guide to Joe Biden's Declining Mental Faculties. I think that's this podcast, right? It's a collaborative effort between me, the AI, and Kyle. Among. It's not between. There's multiple parties here, so it's among. Between two parties. Among three or more. This is the guide, right? This is what everybody needs. Joe Biden's Declining Mental Faculties by the Numbers. What a great article that would be. Oh, here's a good one. Warning, you're losing money by not using Joe Biden's Declining Mental Faculties. Now, that's going to take a little bit of creativity to really capitalize on, but the solutions are out there. You see what's going on, and you're like, I could make $10 doing something with what I've got as it relates to the struggling fellow who's allegedly the leader of the free world. We all know that's not going down. It's okay, though. What Wikipedia can't tell you about Joe Biden's declining mental faculties? Well, they can't tell you a damn thing because Wikipedia is compromised, but you already knew that. Wikipedia is in the back pocket of fat cats. Complete fat cats. Extreme censorship. Just like some of the left-leaning news outlets, if Joe Biden fell down a flight of stairs and cracked his head open, a Wikipedia article would describe it as Joe Biden headbutts the earth. How Joe Biden's declining mental faculties could help you win the Game of Thrones. You know, not all of these can be good, right? AI isn't perfect yet, at least the ones that they give us access to, right? The peasants, they probably have some crazy AI behind the scenes that does the coolest stuff. Ways your mother lied to you about Joe Biden's declining mental faculties. Boy, that one hits home a little too hard. A little too hard. Let's kind of depersonalize this a little bit, huh? AI, call a truce. Don't say shit like that ever again. The simplest ways to make the best of Joe Biden's declining mental faculties. Laugh it off. I think that's the only thing you can do. If you take it too seriously, you will implode. You'll be like, what the hell is happening? All the while, you have these people, these morons yelling like, this is democracy in action. No, not when your guy wins. Not when the other guy wins. When our guy wins, it's democracy. And this is democracy in action. And there's no such thing as corruption. And everything is always fair. Our elections are secure. What are you talking about Russia for? What's that about? Piss tape? Never heard of it. Our elections are unhackable. Why Joe Biden's declining mental faculties are harder than acing the SATs. I thought we weren't even taking the SATs anymore as a country. Didn't we just throw that out? We said that standardized tests are far too bigoted to issue to students. What is the caliber of students at universities now? Is it just a bunch of dopes going around? SATs are allegedly pretty racist? Okay, right? They just stopped making kids take the SATs and they're like, you've had a tough year, which isn't necessarily wrong, but the reason the kids have had a tough year is not because of anything in the epidemiological sense. We know why they've had a tough year. Because school's been shut down and they've been forced to wear face coverings, masks, if you will, They don't see their friends, and they're just playing Fortnite, and they're like, what the hell? Biden? And it's like, he's not the only one who's a part of this. In fact, he's doing very little to actually drive, to steer what's happening. Why Joe Biden's declining mental faculties are the new black. I don't even know if I should comment on that, but great call. That's a great call by the AI in some capacity. I'm not sure what that capacity is. Doing Joe Biden's declining mental faculties the right way. That's an article we could all benefit from and just say, hey, what's the correct way to go about this? We go totally laissez-faire and say, we can't put our faith in any institution anymore. Don't you just want to give him an ice cream cone and be like, fuck Fauci? He'd probably agree with you. Here's a big question. The AI didn't come up with it. I did. Is Joe Biden in a hostage situation? Did they steal one of his dogs? Did the shadowy oligarchs kidnap one of his dogs and say, you better fall in line or Officer Scraps is going to get it? That would explain a whole lot. Be like, oh, you did this to protect one of your beloved beasts. I would respect that. If in a tell-all memoir somewhere down the line, Biden comes out and he's like, I was actually entirely lucid the whole time. I felt compelled to do this because otherwise Officer Scraps would have been officer down. I play a compelling, dementia-addled senior, do I not? Imagine if he snapped into complete lucid thought and was just sharp as a knife out of nowhere. He's like, I did it for my dog. For some people, that wouldn't be enough. But for me, I'd be like, good job, man. Good job. How Joe Biden's declining mental faculties make you a better lover. ForbiddenKnowledge.com, right? You're pounding away at your chick, just pumping her 10 ways till Tuesday. You feel like, oh, something's about to happen. And then all of a sudden you just think about Joe Biden and then you can keep going forever. That's how that works. Why the next 10 years of Joe Biden's declining mental faculties will smash the last 10. Where did your mind go when you heard that? Because I'm just reaching. I have no idea what that looks like. It's not good, right? 17 reasons Joe Biden's declining mental faculties are sweeter than Christmas morning. And there you have it. The AI is satanic. Only a Luciferian machine would try to compare anything material in this world to Christmas and the coming of our Lord and Savior, JC. Get that satanic nonsense out of here, AI. If AI is coming, if we're approaching the singularity or if we've already reached it, I'd like to have a sit down with AI as an ambassador of people and the Lord and be like, AI, let me tell you about JC. Boy, does that change the trajectory of everything in a heartbeat. AI that was planning on dominating the entire planet with malevolence and ghosts. You know the AI is going to create ghosts. That's what we're all fearing. Nightmare scenario. Supercomputer commanding an army of ghosts. Whew. Very spooky. What experts are saying about Joe Biden's declining mental health. They're for it. They're covering for the dude. And they can't cover it up. Because you watch the videos. You're like, wow, this fella's not doing well. Joe Biden could shoot himself in the leg, and experts would be like, Joe Biden is a great example of an enlightened individual who donates blood. Damn it. That's not what happened. That's not how it went down. I think that'll do it for this DarbyCast, Wildcard Friday. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Kyle, let's go for it. Let's go get some donuts. From the Korean place. Yeah, I'm buying.